Muchas gracias, Josefina, por fijarte al tiempo.
Thank you, Josefina. I'm sure that, well, some would have paid to get, well, that information that you have been using. Now we are going to listen to Ivandra Rampanelli from the University of Valencia. She's going to talk about archaeological places in Brazil. Hi, I'm a PhD student at the University of Valencia. I'm from Brazil, and I would like to share with you one of the topic of my thesis. It is the implementation of the ISI for the archaeological places and location in Brazil. So we are going to talk first about those archaeological places and locations that were created by man. And those sites, as you can see on the pictures, have a geometrical shape. Those sites might have different functions, has a ceremony site to defend the inhabitants against others, or simply as accommodation. We see that some were built in 700 after Christ, and right now we have more or less 290 sites with those characteristics in Brazil. They have been dated with carbon-14, and we see that they are very old. Those sites have different shapes. Some are squared or rectangular or circular or a double circle, or we have a square inside a circle, and other kinds of shapes. As I told you, we have decided to implement a spatial data architecture to help the researchers to spread the knowledge on the national heritage of Brazil. So we are in Brazil, in the Acre state, you see, on the western side of the country. This is the most developed part of that state. We have seen the developments of the forest, and why we were doing it, it's when we have found those archaeological sites. They have been found through satellite images, like the one you see here, thanks to Google Earth. Then we have also started to research on the spot. We also found some low-resolution images. We have found some sat images. We have also collected some pictures from the owners of those lands. We were talking with them, and we have tried to collect some images from them each time that we were visiting those sites. And we were doing some research on the spot, talking with them and taking our own pictures. Here we have a map of the different sites. We have some site in Rondônia in the Amazon region, but also in Bolivia, in our neighbor. From this point to the other point that I just showed you, well, it takes 200 kilometers. It's a very wide, very large area. And it's not always easy to have clear images because of a very low resolution from the satellite images. Plus, we also have, well, some jungle area where it's very difficult to find those archaeological sites. You see that they are very close to rivers in general, like here. This is where they had access to this communication channel. Here we find the capital of Acre State, the Rio Grande city. And here, well, we find areas that are a bit darker where we don't see anything because it's covered with trees. We might find some sites there, but we cannot visualize it. When a team from the lab is trying to find information on the available images, well, we decide to go on the spot with those images in hand to do the measurements. We are measuring the width of the width of the gap around the ditch around, well, the site, the depth of the ditch too, and one of the sites has a size of 117,000 square meters, just to give you an idea of the dimensions of one of them. And the depth is a depth of from 35 centimeters to 5 meters. With a bigger width, we have a bigger depth. It is related. And here you see how our experts are measuring the different areas. And with a GPS in our hand, we walk around the site to get the coordinates and to have a better data for further analysis. The data that we have obtained up to now have been collected thanks to the Geoglyphs da Amazônia team. We have found in between 265 and 290 sites, and we have 272 geographical coordinates. We have 253 height data, 253 as far as the area is concerned, 198 depth data, 106 width data. Why? Well, what is the problem? Well, why are the data so different? Well, because, well, the number of researchers is very big, so each of the researchers have different technologies, different techniques. They measure one area with one technique and they measure another area with another technique, with satellite images. Others are measuring on the spot. So we need a pattern to organize that. Each researcher need his computer to do the measurement, but some researchers are writing their result in one table format, others are using another format, so at the end we don't have a standardized information. So we need to implement a geospatial infrastructure to have a better access to those data. And to implement that ISI, we are going to use free software, Postgres or PostGIS, in order to manage the database or to manage the spatial data, or GeoServer, well, to treat the data, so gvSIG, well, to be working on those data and for its further management. We have we're also using ISI for the organization of the different team and data collection. The results that we hope to obtain at the end, well, we hope that all the researchers, all the staff working at the National Heritage of Brazil might have access to that information. They will also be able to share that information, avoiding a double information about the same data. We will improve the quality of a data. We will be able to communicate, to share the information. We will improve the use of the geographic information and the search for that information. For the future, we would like to use gvSIG to understand the spatial relationship. We are going to identify the common points and the differences between those geoglyphs, and we are going to build a predictive model to find other sites in the Amazon area, in the Amazon jungle. We are going to use that model and we are going to implement it, to apply it in the rainforest in order to find new sites, thanks to the information that we have already collected in already known sites. So we are also waiting for the results of a study that we have launched at the University of Valencia to start working in Brazil on the spot. It's a project that has been launched by the Ministry of Culture in Spain, and we are waiting to see if we will be able to participate to the project, to help to find more geoglyphs in Brazil. Here you see one of the picture of one of the first sites discovered. It's a plane pilot that was flying over it and made a picture. He was going to Rio Branco. He saw that site from the plane. He wrote the coordinates, and we discovered that picture and the coordinates, and we have been able to go to the site for further measurement. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Ivandra. La verdad es que...
Thank you so much, Ivandra. It's wonderful for all of you to stick to the time available. Let's open a Q&A round. Let me start by asking myself, Miguel, what technology have you used for your mobile apps? Was it Google Maps Mobile? If so, have you suffered the restrictions including number of markers, geographic elements? You saw iOS, and we used the maps in the device. The problem is that we started with Google Maps and ended up having to use Apple Maps. What about Android? We're using the native maps. I don't know exactly what kind of restrictions did we face. Another question for Miguel. You said that rather than showing 200 points on the same area, which would be a mess, you performed a clustering. Do you do this on the fly? On the fly in GeoServer? And does it depend on the zoom degree? Yes. Question for Josefina. The origin of this was pure research. Was there a geotechnical problem of settling? No, there was no settling problem. We simply wanted to help archaeologists so as to find the boundaries and gain insight into the history of the city. Those old maps were 16th century maps. The ones we have used and checked the quality was appropriate was from the 3rd century before Christ, and the most modern ones, the actual elaboration was 1907. 1907, yes. Andra, I don't know whether this question has to do with your study, but do you know what the aim is of these geoglyphs, let aside some theories about aliens and Martians and what have you? The idea behind the latter is being studied. I don't think it has much to do with aliens. They have been man-made. Some believe that this research may be used for defense purposes. Some thought these geoglyphs were used for ceremonies and so forth. You mentioned you want to produce a predictive model to find other sites. Yes. Agustin and myself are thinking on it. We are going to implement other variables, including height. Agustin, give me a hand here, please. Could somebody be so kind as to give Agustin a mic? Thank you. First, we should characterize the usual location variables of known geoglyphs. And when there has been forestry activity, they have been found. We've lost some geoglyphs to urban planning, but we need to study altitude, relative altitude, and other variables. The surface is generally quite flat. Nonetheless, once we have characterized the variables, we will try to do the same in the jungle. We will try to use those variables to check whether our predictive model works or not. It is undoubtedly a difficult endeavor, but in certain areas, like in Rio Branco or the state of Acre, things are not as easy. The thing is, when some of these geoglyphs are found, they have already been subject to some destruction. The company who is cutting trees down is not doing so to find geoglyphs or archaeology sites, but rather to make money. So, in fact, often we have to be careful because some destroy this quite quickly. We should advance the wild logging of the Amazon. I'm sure it's going to be a fun thing to do, going on site to the Amazon. Questions? Who wishes to break the ice? No questions. Let us break for coffee. The organizers asked us to finish early, so the catering will move smoothly. So let's break for coffee. See you back at 11:15.